r/AskReddit.
What's an unfun fact? In 2014, the CDC once found a smallpox sample that they had lost and didn't even know it. It was just laying around in some random storeroom. I worked for a university a few years ago and they were trying to clean up old chemicals and biological samples in one of their old lab buildings that I did maintenance in. Turns out they found one or more things in a storage room that were either radioactive, or more likely, I presume biohazardous enough that the federal goat gagged the building admin from giving us any details about. But freaked out the maintenance staff because they had the fire department, police and a hazmat team collect and move whatever it was in the middle of the night, and infection control tented that entire floor of the building. We had students who had seen the trucks and cars asking the next day, and the admin wouldn't give us anything more than, "It's safe, it's been disinfected." Which didn't go over well. Parvovirus can infect dogs and cats at any particular age and kill them pretty efficiently. It's especially good at doing this with puppies. There's no cure and no antiviral, just boosters and hydration IV you can give them. When a dog comes home healthy from the recovery from a parvo infection, they're contagious for 2 weeks, and if they pee, poop, or vomit anywhere at all, including dog parks, that freakin' virus is able to survive for up to a year. Including in 100+ degree weather. Parvovirus sucks. I used to work at a local pet shop. They stopped selling puppies 16 years ago because they got a litter in and all 6 puppies had parvo. Only one survived and the owner kept that one dog and decided to never sell puppies again. That puppy is still alive today and is doing well. Around 1.5 million people die from TB annually, which is a disease consistently treatable by antibiotics in almost all cases. In most places where TB is endemic, HIV is also endemic, and you see a lot of comorbidity with those two. Even if people can afford and access antibiotics, their immune systems are often too compromised to fight it off. To accept that TB has become increasingly resistant to modern antibiotics, so it's harder than ever to treat. It's a huge problem in certain countries, especially among the elderly, and it's often Medicine Sans Frontières that is working to control its spread. Fatal familial insomnia exists. It's a rare, incurable prionic brain disease that progressively destroys your brain's ability to sleep. Eventually you stop sleeping altogether, go insane, have seizures, and die. Prions are scary. No cure, treatment, and mostly deadly. But they are rare. At least, if they became somehow common like a rhinovirus, humans would almost be wiped out. Only 1 in every 1,000 sea turtles born ever make it to adulthood. Those numbers are even crazier if you also consider the success rate of the sperm cells used to fertilize the eggs. This was a problem with American alligators too. So conservationists took eggs from the wild, hatched them, and then raised the reptiles till they were big enough to survive, usually around 4 feet long. This caused the population to grow to a naturally sustainable number. To prevent poaching and depletion from hunting, alligator farms now raise all the leather sold to the garment industry. Maybe sea turtles could be similarly increased in number. Male cats have spines on their penises that rake the walls of a female's vagina to trigger ovulation and to hold the female in place while mating. And the female attacks the male after they are done doing their thing. She gets more and more pissed off the longer she gets pinned down. The female tarantula hawk wasp stings a tarantula between the legs, paralyzes it, then drags the prey to a specially prepared burrow, where a single egg is laid on the spider's abdomen, and the entrance is covered. Sex of the larva is determined by fertilization. Fertilized eggs produce females, while unfertilized eggs produce males. When the wasp larva hatches, it creates a small hole in the spider's abdomen, then enters and feeds voraciously, avoiding vital organs for as long as possible to keep the spider alive. After several weeks, the larva pupates. Finally, the wasp becomes an adult and emerges from the spider's abdomen to continue the life cycle. Female tarantula hawk wasp. That's it, my 4 biggest fears put in the same lane. Touching an AM radio broadcast tower will kill you, and not only will it kill you, but it will hurt the entire time you're dying. Number 1. The voltage is so high that your hands would instantly clamp to whatever charged part of the tower you touched, then because it's oscillating at a frequency your cells can't feel, you wouldn't be able to feel yourself being electrocuted until it starts to heat your body from the current, and you'd also be able to hear your body acting as a speaker, where you'd literally be able to hear whatever was on that particular station as you die. Edit, since people asked, touching an FM broadcast tower won't have nearly the same effect. The tower is hundreds of feet high, and unlike AM radio where the tower itself is the antenna, the actual antenna is only about 20 to 30 feet long at the very top. Also, FM radio uses a lot lower power, only usually 100-1000 watts, compared to AM radio where usually 1000-50,000 watts are used. So unless you climb all the way to the top of the tower, there's no danger of any burns. Also, in regard to 5G, as stated previously, AM radio uses an incredible amount of power. 5G uses so much less power, on the order of 1 to 15 watts. Also, radio waves are considered non-ionizing radiation, meaning the only danger with them is a small heating effect at higher frequencies, kinda like a microwave, but also keep in mind that your microwave uses 1500 watts. This is because the wavelength of these radio waves is literally too big to interact with your cells in any way. There's no danger whatsoever here. The power depicted in that video comes from the electricity flowing through the tower, not the radio waves themselves. When a male bee drone ejaculates, its testicles explode and the drone dies. It is literally a one-shot wonder. This is also a drone bee's only job. The males are literally slaves only used for breeding, and when autumn comes and the hive hibernates, all the drones are forced out of the hive to die in the cold. That brain-eating amoebas exist at all, and is also pretty commonly found in freshwater ponds and lakes. Apparently only 4 people have survived getting it in the last 50 years. I have a friend that got LASIK eye surgery, and then 2 months after she started getting eye pain and was losing her vision. Somehow, a flesh-eating amoeba got into her eye via the eye flap left over from the surgery, and started eating her cornea. She was in serious pain and eventually lost all sight. Seems like they managed to kill off the amoeba, and then she got a cornea transplant. People who handle cockroaches develop allergies to them. This usually prevents them from drinking pre-ground coffee because of the cockroaches that get grounded in with the large batches. Whales don't die of old age. Eventually they just don't have the strength to resurface and slowly drown. Deep-sea octopus babies take 5+ years to hatch, while mama octopus never leaves the nest to feed and dies when the babies hatch. She doesn't eat for 5+ years. Oh my, this really blew up. Many of you pointed out the source already, it is from Radiolab, Octomom episode. I highly recommend. Your voice on recordings is actually how your voice really sounds. Your voice in your head is a bit muffled and deeper, because the sound travels through your head instead of the air. That's why it feels weird to hear your own voice recorded. Edit, actually, your recorded voice is a bit high-pitched, it takes a very good microphone to capture your real voice, but the one in your head is, most of the time, way off. The most common cause of death for tall people is a heart attack brought on by the fact that their hearts just naturally have to work harder than average to circulate all that blood through that larger body. Left-handed people are most likely to die in an accident involving a power tool, because they're all designed by right-handed people, for right-handed people. I'm tall, 6'5", or 1.98 m, and I'm left-handed. Which one will it be for me? Trees actually only make roughly 20% of the world's oxygen, with the other 80% consisting of the algae phytoplankton, so simply planting trees isn't as effective as you'd think. According to quantum mechanics, there's a small chance the whole universe will suddenly disappear in the next 5 seconds. Also, there's a small chance the universe, the earth, all the people, the buildings, whatever device you are reading this from, your posts, the replies, the whole internet, your knowledge of everything, your personality, your memories, your existence, etc., was created just 1 second ago. I find stuff like this fascinating, like it could all just end and no one would know. And it could happen at any moment. Bananas are slightly radioactive. And so are human bodies. Couples who sleep together are shown to get higher daily radiation doses than those who sleep alone. Colorado is also an especially radioactive state, because of all the granite in the ground. You have a body, and there are at least a dozen ways things can go catastrophically wrong with every single part in it. And I'm talking down to the cellular level. One of the Beastie Boys died because his salivary gland got skin cancer. Heart attacks, seizures, strokes, aneurysms, cancers, weird genetic diseases, sudden coronary, any of it can happen to you at any time. One of those or something equally miserable will happen to you if you live long enough. It's coming, and nothing can stop it. Sweet dreams. If left without food long enough, your cat will eat your dead body. This happened to my great-grandfather. He wasn't found for a couple days after death and his cat had eaten his ankles. Personally, I'd be okay with this. Just because I'm dead doesn't mean my cat has to die too. I won't even feel it.